Hello, everyone, and welcome to this devotional time. I'm Chaplain Dan, and I want to especially invite you to enjoy with me a few moments this day out here on our screen back porch. We live in a cottage in the independent living section of our beautiful community here at Australia, and I trust you feel as we do, my wife and I, Sue, that where we are is just exactly the right place for us. I come out here on the screen porch ever so often just to clear my mind, to pray, and to occasionally speak to you. Today I want to point out something that you can see over my right shoulder. It's the back of it, actually, for a purpose. The back is always turned. You see that curious white object out there beyond the screen? Well, that actually is a time-tested white wicker rocker. It sits out there for a reason. It looks out on the beautiful ranch land that is at the back of our community, and we are so grateful to have it here. Why have it, though, outside and pointed out toward the ranch land and away from the porch? There's a reason. No one ever sits in that chair, but it represents for me something that may sound crazy to you, but has come to make sense for me. The place where God sits when I need to talk with Him. Now, there's a reason for the chair out there, the rocker, to be facing away from me. And that reason is what I wanted to share with you today. It's based on the one experience in all of Scripture, at least that I'm aware of, the one experience of a human being who actually saw God and lived to talk about it. It's found in the 33rd chapter of the book of Exodus, the second book of the Hebrew Scriptures, and it's taken from a section where Moses has been told by God up on Mount Sinai that he was to now take the newly given 10 Commandments and leave the mountain and go and lead his people out toward the promised land, and that God would go before them, ahead of them. Moses didn't see God up on Sinai. It was a blazing pillar of fire that he saw, but he heard God's voice. But later on, as he was, it turned out, year after year, leading his people through the wilderness, turned out to be 40 years, Scripture tells us, the people got kind of cantankerous, kind of doubting about whether this was really God's leadership or whether it was just some wild goose chase that Moses had them going on. You know how we people are sometimes. But in the 33rd verse, Moses has just about had a chapter, 33rd chapter, Moses has just about had enough of the grousing and the grumbling among the people of Israel. And this is what it says in the 17th verse, reading on about a very special event, unique in all of human history. The Lord said to Moses, see, they spoke fairly often. The Lord said to Moses, I will do everything that you have asked. What was it that Moses asked? Moses, frustrated with his recalcitrant people, said, God, you need to come and show yourself to the people so they will know that it is you and no one else that's leading them this way. And so the Lord said to Moses, back to the scripture, I will do everything that you ask of me, for you found favor in my sight, Moses, and I know your name. And Moses said, show me your glory, Lord, I pray. And he said, I will make all my goodness pass before you. That's what God said to Moses. I will proclaim before you the name, the Lord, and I will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and will show mercy on whom I will show mercy. See, God is not giving up his sovereignty, his ability to make judgments that are only God's to make about who is acceptable in the kingdom and who is not. But then the 20th verse, this is where it gets good. But he said, you cannot see my face. That is, God said to Moses. So don't get your hopes up. No one shall ever see my face and live. The Lord continued, see, there is a place by me where you shall stand on the rock. And Moses looked around, and there was a little covered hole, not even big enough to call a cave, but a covered place. And God said, while my glory passes by, I will put you in this cleft of the rock, and I will cover you with my hands until I've passed by. And then I will take away my hand, and you shall see my back. But my face, God said, you will not see. And so it goes on to explain that that is what happened. And God did in fact show himself, herself, to the man Moses. But only God's backside. No face, no frontal view. Humans are not to see the Lord our God in a visible, human-to-human way, because God is not human. God is God. Moses was satisfied with that. And so he went on back and told the people of Israel. And they believed again, the scripture says, and they followed him. The reason that rocking chair faces away from me is because, as the scripture describes, I shall not attempt to see the face of God, but instead be satisfied and blessed simply to feel His presence, to see, if you will, His backside. How does God appear to you? If you find, as I do, this story from the book of Exodus helpful, then perhaps you can find your own way to see the backside of God as God speaks to you today. He's still in the visiting business, just not face to face. Have a blessed day here at Australia, and in your community, may God's face show, and may you be blessed to follow. I'll see you soon.